Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we're in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. All individuals entering city-operated facilities, including City Hall, are required to wear non-medical face masks. Those at the table are not required to wear the mask while sitting, as long as they distance themselves from each other by 6 feet. Once you leave your seat at the table, you must put your mask on. As directed by Manitoba Health, we're requesting people avoid close contact within 3 meters with anybody showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. If you are flu-like symptoms, we request that you excuse yourself from the room. Okay. Please note that when you join the meeting via Zoom, all participants will be waiting in the room and your microphone will be muted until the host lets you into this room. You can watch the hearing via the City Board of Revision YouTube channel. When called upon, you will be allowed from the waiting room and permitted to speak in respect to your property. Once you have been heard, you can continue to watch the hearing via the City Board of Revision YouTube channel. If any participants are currently watching live meeting by YouTube, please mute your auto player now. I'd like to begin by acknowledging or introducing the panel members. My name is Ron Merritt. I'll be your chairperson this morning. And to my left is Gisela Rempel, and via the YouTube is Kay Garrity. Our recording secretary is Cara Belshaw, and representing the city from the assessment department is Nancy Fulton. We'll be hearing application for the revision of the assessment rule in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application and will limit discussions to those matters. The statements that the applicant or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anybody speaking in these matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The board is appointed annually by City Council and it is independent of it, along with the city administration. We make our decisions based on the evidence provided at this hearing and issue a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to application from exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information how to do so will be included in the board's order. In respect to the hearing this morning, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We'll then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the other applicant may have, and then it'll be the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each party will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket this morning. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. We'll ask our secretary to swear in the assessor.
And Ms. Chang, I'm just going to put you back into the waiting room for now, okay? Okay. So can you please stand? For the record, please state your name.
Nancy Lupton.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And we're starting on item 8. Is that correct?
Correct. As soon as I get there.
Okay. So that's fine while you're getting there.
Okay.
I'm going to just touch base with the applicant.
Yes.
It's frozen. Oh, no. Okay. Is that Mr. Zhu?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just going to affirm your testimony. For the record, please state your name.
First name is Ying, Ying. Last name Zhou, Zhou.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kara,
Yes.
why can't I get
I don't know.
my evidence? Or is this your evidence?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Item 8.
Yeah. Okay, item 8 here. That's okay,
Yep.
applicant.
So
Okay.
now just minimize that
Okay.
and go back and open the assessor's brief as well.
This one here?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Double
item
click.
8. Okay. Good.
Right, and now see you've got them both here, so you can toggle between them.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can run that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Okay, the first item on the docket is number 107 Creekside Road. So we will first hear from the assessor in regards to what their value is, and then then you can ask questions in regards to the brief, and then we will deal with your evidence. All right?
Okay.
Okay. The floor is yours, madam.
Thank you. Okay. Roll number 0309 2982740, 107 Creekside Road. It's 2-story built in 2018 in Bridgewater Lakes. The living area is 2,456 square feet, has no basement finish. It has 3 full bathrooms with the master ensuite having a separate shower. It has air conditioning, a fireplace, an attached multiple garage. The assessed lot size is 6,117 square feet. And for the land influence, it has the hydroponics at the front. The 2021 assessment roll is 571,000. I have reviewed 4 comparables in the Bridgewater Lakes. I have attached a map to my evidence. So you can see the location of each comparable in relation to the subject property. They're all 2 stories. They are slightly older than the subject, ranging from 2014 to 2017 built. They are slightly smaller than the subject, ranging from 2,350 square feet to 2,390 square feet. All the comparables have the open to below great rooms similar to the subject property. I've also attached to my evidence, the subject property was on MLS, on the multiple listing services. So I have attached pictures for the board to take a look to see the home itself. So when I say open to below great room, you can see the second floor is missing where the living room is in the back of the house. Okay, so none of the comparables have basement finish. All the comparables have 2 full bathrooms with the master ensuite having a separate shower and a half bath, where the subject has the 3 full bathrooms with the master ensuite having a separate shower. Comparable 2 and 4 have air conditioning, while the other 2 do not. Comparable 4 does not have a fireplace. They all have attached multiple garages. The lot sizes range from 5,433 square feet to 6,647 square feet. Comparable 4 does have a median traffic influence. The time adjusted sale price for the comparable ranges from 562,000 to 576,000 rounded. After reviewing the subject's pictures from MLS and the comparables that were available on MLS, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value of the subject property as of April 1st, 2018 is 571,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions in regard to what you just heard from the assessment department? Just questions. No
No.
questions?
No.
No. Ms. Rempel, questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
Ms. Garrity?
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Fulton, the comparables that you have, the subject is 571,000. Okay? But I see that all the comparables that you've used are of less value. And because it takes me a while to get through this screen here. And they're all fairly close in regards to size. Okay. So what brings the subject in at the higher value than some of the comparables?
So yeah, the range for the comparables for the time adjusted ranges from the 562,000 to the 576,000 rounded. So to consider, after reviewing the pictures and taking factor the age of the home, because it is a new build versus the comparables, you can see comparable 1, 3, and 4 are built in 2014, 15, 16, so they're slightly older. So considering it is a new build, I would put the subject at the high end of the range.
And they talked about the land influences, okay, and it says hydro. Is there a box there on the property?
Yes, there would be the hydro box at the front between the two properties at 107 and the neighbor beside it is the green box that sits in the front.
And the transform, hydro, okay.
Yeah.
And telephone, what's, is there a box there?
In older neighborhoods, I've seen like there'd be 2 boxes. So we just have it grouped together, the hydro box and the telephone, but in these areas, just the hydro box.
So it was built in 2018?
Correct.
Was there a field sheet in regards to a work permit or anything like that? Or was it custom built or?
No, it was built by Sterling Home. It's a Sterling plan, so it's a Sterling home. So it's a home, but Sterling homes are slightly higher than if you would consider like a Falco base home for a tract home. So also if you don't mind, comparable 1 and 3 are also Sterling homes, and comparable 2 and 4 are Kensington homes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good question, sorry. I note also, although you didn't mention it, this property seems to be a little larger in terms of the house itself than the other properties you've selected. And so the time adjusted sale price per square foot seems to be less than all of the properties you've selected.
As the home gets larger, the price per square foot is lower. So is the diminishing returns. So yeah.
Just one other question. The time adjustment, is there a percentage that you've used for per month or something like that?
Yes, it is 0.15% per month.
So 1.5%? 0.15? Yeah, 1.5%.
0.15%. 0.15%,
Point, oh,
right?
No.
Point,
no, not zero. It's one and a
Nope.
half,
0.15%.
not 15%. Okay.
No, 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 no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no, no.
okay, okay,
That's
okay.
way too much. So it's 0.15%.
Okay,
So don't times it by 100.
No, no, no.
It's already been times by 100.
No,
so I see here that probably the lot itself sold for 148.8.
Correct.
All right. Sir, the floor is yours. You can take us through all your evidence and you can say what you want and probably conclude by stating the value. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so I bought the price in 2018, and the price was much lower than appraisal value. It's only, I think, 528, and it's brand new house. And but the value in 2019 is 571, and also there's other house just sold in 505 Northtown Road last year. It's fully finished basement, backyard is finished. I think everything is finished. Also, they have three fully bathroom. They sold by 556, I think, by last year. And I also have the evidence, but I forgot to upload. Can I upload right away? Is possible?
You've already submitted some evidence to us?
No. For that, I only sent my offer to purchase.
Right, so that's the evidence you submitted, and now you want to submit additional evidence?
Yeah, for the 505 Northtown Road for the sale price, and they have fully finished basement. And also for my house, I think it's just the base. There's no hard floor, no any upgrade, nothing. And the evidence you showed me from other house, even from 2014, 2016, I don't know if they have any upgrade, but my house is vinyl and carpet, the light, everything is just the basic. I don't know if you can find any upgrade for my house.
Okay. Well, I think you can only submit so much.
Okay.
We have here the documentation or the evidence that is presented, and I see here that at the time of purchase, you paid $528,000.
Yes.
So you can verbally describe what you think the value should be.
So I in 2018 I paid 528, and just this year I did appraisal from CIBC because I transfer mortgage. The appraisal value now is only 559 from CIBC about 2 months ago.
What was the purpose of the appraisal?
Oh, I transferred mortgage from Standby Credit Union to CIBC on May.
So you transferred your mortgage and they
Yeah.
wanted the appraisal?
Yeah.
And what was the date of the appraisal?
Uh,
Roughly?
I think April.
April?
Yeah, beginning of April or end of March.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay. So what do you think the value should be according to what you feel as if, because we're looking at an evaluation date of April the 1st, 2018.
April 2018.
Yeah.
But I moved in my house by October. So I bought my house October 2018.
Yeah. So it's, that information is almost like post-reference, so you can't really use that, but you can think about what value you place on the house though. I mean, you're here today or via the Zoom, so you obviously have some sort of value in mind for the reference date.
Yeah, I think now the house should be around like 559. So I think the appraisal from CIBC, I think it makes sense.
And that's your evidence, sir?
You mean evidence from the appraisal?
That's your presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Bolton?
Just a couple questions. Have you done any work to the home? I know because it is a new build, so have you done any additional work?
Yeah. So
into the home?
Yeah, sorry. In 2019, I did my front landscaping. By this year, summer, about 2 months ago, so we did the fence and back landscaping.
That it?
One further question. Have you tried selling your house recent?
No.
Good?
No.
No further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Rempel, questions of the applicant?
No, I have no questions. Thank
Ms.
you.
Garrity?
I think just for me, it's the clarification. When you purchased the house, it was 528, and that was in 2018. And now you've most recently got an assessment done or an appraisal done, pardon me, at 559. So you're asking 559. Is that what you're thinking it should be? That's
Yeah, I think so.
I think I heard you say.
Yeah.
So that's 2020 information.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you wish to state anything further, or do you want to summarize it all, or you just want to leave it with us and we'll
I just leave like this.
just leave it with us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Ms. Nancy, do you want to say anything? No? Okay. I thank you very much for your presentation, sir.
Okay, thank
And
you.
results shortly.
Okay, thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so as you can see, the applicants for the first items are here, and
Oh.
you should have the briefs in the.
okay.
folders.
Which ones are they? Here?
So we have Michael and Helena here.
Okay. Okay. Two people?
They
Or-
each own both properties.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
We'll move back
Yep.
to them.
Sure.
Okay, so we're gonna do your applications now. and we'll kind of come to the-
So Nancy, we're gonna go to 203 Creekside
And
Road.
you stay there. And, yeah, the call for Linda. Okay, so I need you guys to come up to me, please. There's a quick sheet is there with the panel members' names for your reference. So to get you of affirmation down, let's ask that you both stand, please. Please state your name.
Michael Davidian.
Helena Owen.
And do you affirm that the evidence that you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. You can remove your masks at the table if you wish.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
Okay, so we're going to deal with your property at 203 Creekside Drive.
Okay.
And there's, I guess, 3 assessments on it, hey? There's 19, 20, and 21. So I think we'll let the assessor take us through the properties, and I think we'll probably go from 19 to 20 to 21. Okay? So whenever you're ready.
Roll number 030929828885, 203 Creekside Road. This is going to be for the 2019 assessment with the reference date of April 1st, 2016. It's a 2009 built in Bridgewater Lake. It's a 2-story. It is 2,282 square feet. Has no basement finish, has 2 full bathrooms and a half bathroom. It has air conditioning. It has no gas fireplaces. Typically our briefs will only show gas fireplaces. However, the property does have 2 electric fireplaces. It has an attached garage. The lot size is 5,189 square feet. It has hydro lines as a land influence running along the back of the property. The 2019 assessment is $460,000 or $201.58 square feet. And also in my brief, I have attached MLS pictures of the subject property for the board to review the interior pictures and the exterior as well. Okay. So for the 2019, I have reviewed 4 comparables. 3 of them are in Bridgewater Lakes and 1 is in Bridgewater Forest. They're all 2 stories. They're either built in 2012 and 2013, which are older than the subject. The living area ranges from 2,265 square feet to 2,351 square feet. They don't have basement finish. All the properties have 2 full bathrooms, a half bath, with comparable 1 and 4 having the separate tub and shower in the master ensuite. Comparable 1 does not have air conditioning, while the remaining do. 3 comparables have gas fireplaces. They all have attached garages. The lot size ranges from 4,593 square feet to 5,668 square feet. 2 have the park influence and 1 has a heavy traffic influence. The time adjusted sale price ranges from 453,000 to 531,000 rounded. After reviewing the subject's pictures and reviewing the comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2016 is $460,000. Okay, I will move on to the 2020 assessment along with the 2021. So the 2020 and 2021 have the same reference date of April 1st, 2018. So the files are identical. So I'll just speak for the 1 year. It is applied to both years for 2020 and 2021. Okay.
And the value is 460?
So for the 2020 assessment, there was no changes to the characteristics of the subject property. So the 2020 and 2021 assessment is $517,000 or $226.56 a square foot.
Give us that figure one more time.
The 2020 assessment is $517,000.
Is that your presentation?
Nope.
Okay.
I was just making sure if you're okay.
Good. I'm fine
Okay.
now. Yep.
So for the 2020, I reviewed, again, 4 comparables. 3 of them are in Bridgewater Lakes and 1 is in Bridgewater Forest. They were built between 2011 and 2014. The living area ranges from 2,200 square feet to 2,300 square feet. Comparable 3 does have a little bit of basement finish. It has a study area in the basement, while the remaining comparables don't have basement finish. 3 of the comparables have 2 full baths and a half bath, with the master ensuite having a separate tub and shower. Comparable 4 has 2 full bathrooms and a half bath. Comparable 2 does not have air conditioning, and comparable 3 does not have a fireplace. The remaining comparables have the gas fireplace. They all have attached garages. The lot size ranges from 5,353 square feet to 6,457 square feet. Comparable 1 does have the hydro line similar to the subject property, and comparable 3 and 4 have the heavy traffic. The time adjustment sale price ranges from 504,000 to 524,000 rounded. After reviewing the subject's pictures and reviewing the comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2018 is 517,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the assessor?
We would like to know why the assessment went up in the price from 460 to 517. Because we have evidence, we tried to sell the property in January 2020. We moved in August 29 in 2019. And yes, we did the improvement to the property. We invested $20,000 in order to be able to upgrade from the Broadview build, as they provided super basic stuff. So we tried to sell the property and the market said otherwise. So for the entire remainder, the only thing we heard from the buyers, you backing into the schedule appointments and then they would cancel them. For the entire remainder, we had only 3 showings.
Okay, you're getting into your evidence. We just want you to ask questions in regards to what you just heard from the assessment department. So your first question was why the value went up. Okay,
Well, in that increment, I mean, that's generally speaking, houses maybe go 2 to 3% a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've jumped
But okay,
way more than 2%.
ask a question, get an answer. Okay, and then we'll get into your evidence. Okay, or your presentation. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so for the 2019 assessment, it has a market reference date of April 1st, 2016. So as of that date, it's determined that your house would probably sell for $460,000 on that date. So we look at sales before that date to determine that value. So that's one reassessment, because reassessments are done every 2 years. So the 18 and 19 are together. And then 2020 was a new reassessment period. So then the reference date was April 1st, 2018. So it went from 2016 reference date to 2018 reference date. We looked at sales before the reference date of April 1st, 2016 to determine a value. And in this area, our models had indicated that the values did increase. So it did jump from the 460 to 517. And we have roughly for market region 8, the south area where you are, I believe it was 8% increase that we determined, unfortunately, for the area. It is a new built area, constantly building, reselling. The more an area gets older, more resale. So we could have, previous assessments a little under assessed because we lack sales, but as more sales come on, our models are redone and then results in the large increases sometimes, unfortunately.
So when you guys take into effect the comps, do you guys, when you're doing your comps, do you guys are looking at the entire picture as opposed to when we buy a house, it's the house and basically weeds. So there's no yard work finished. Everything is based. So I'm guessing your comps are not going off of a base house. You're going off of.
I'm going off resale. These ones have
So
been
why?
resold. So yeah, they do have the landscaping. They may or may not have the fence, may or may not have the wood deck. So yeah, they are resales, not new construction.
So then would you not look at that in minus? Going off the fact that the house that we're going to be moving to does not have any of those amenities.
Our models do not factor that in. It's So for the 2020, it's the condition as of January 1st, 2020. For the 2021, it's the condition which is going to be January 1st, 2021. People put in their landscaping after they move in. So we just it's all lumped in together. So we don't discount for the minus of landscaping.
But you're also assuming people do it right away, because there's a lot of people that have been in the area for years that have not done their landscaping.
Typically new subdivisions, they do have requirements. You have to finish within a certain time frame, but yeah, we are assuming, because our resales have typically landscaping done. Some of them don't, but when we look at models and we're doing the mass assessment, we're looking at everything, like a big area, all these variables. It includes everything. So yeah, we don't discount for landscaping.
So were you aware that houses that back in, let's say, high traffic or power lines, that they're really affected with, let's say, resale value? Because, for example, when we lived on 2-3 Creekside, the houses across the street would sell in no time, and we would sit and sit and sit and sit, and nobody even wants to come and see the place. Never mind, you have all these beautiful pictures, and we overextend ourselves. We go back to the bank, we borrow the money, and then we put ourselves in a big hole based on all of that. And then just because to hear all the time, oh, we're canceling because it's a power lines, or we're canceling because it's a high traffic area. Even you aware, right, that developer, and we don't even learn that lesson ourselves, right? So to read this letter, it says, when you're presenting features such as location, number one. So it seems to be us, we don't even learn that lesson, right? Mm-hmm. So we went and we bought that place with the backing, the power lines, and we struggled to sell. Another property we've been selling for 2 years. We hired top 4 realtors in the city, and they're fine realtors. There's nothing wrong with them. Everybody's asking, what is wrong with the house? And you look at the pictures, there's nothing wrong with the house.
It's a beautiful house.
It's a beautiful house. Yeah. And yes, assessors, they should not assess, we have been told by the bank, well, you put all this nice staging, but yet in 2 years, you don't sell. And the realtors, I come back to the realtors in year number 2 in 2020 to sell. And he says to me, well, Helene, I'm sorry, but I really don't want to sell your house anymore because it affects my reputation. So I am stuck. I am stuck in the hole trying to sell these 2 properties. And we're running out of money because, as you know, you're sitting on the market, you can't, and even rent. We tried to rent 11 Beach Grove for 5 months, and nobody even want to rent. So we are in that, maybe something needs to happen in terms of the price. I understand that you go in the general, and I understand that you will have to follow the rules that specifically, but I also want you to understand the life that we live as a homeowners, because we don't mind to pay the taxes, but we want you to look at us deeper, and that's why we are here. We want you to look at this and understand that we struggle to sell, we struggle to move forward even with the rent. So maybe there is a way that you can look at us a little different, because we are in trouble.
To answer your question, there was a question there at the beginning. We do consider the hydro lines and heavy traffic when we do our models, and it is a negative feature, as I can tell by you explaining your situation. So we do have it in the model. It's reducing our value by a certain amount because you are on the hydro lines. And like one of my comparables for 2020, they have the heavy traffic. So again, if you're on a heavy traffic, it's a negative feature. So between the 2 hydro lines and the heavy traffic, yeah, it's negative. So we do consider that when we do our models.
So we do strongly believe with the comparison to how we saw that we presented to you, that 2-3 Creekside should be 465 to 470. And 11 Beach Grove should be 480 or 75. We did receive only 1 verbal offer for 11 Beach Grove for the past 2 years, and then they failed.
We're doing Creekside.
So we had to withdraw from the market because we were not successful to Creekside.
Anything further, questions, regards to the brief that you just heard?
We just want you to hear us that power lines and the
No more questions in
hydro
regards
needs
to
to
the
be
brief.
addressed accordingly, based on our experience, current experience.
Ms. Rempel, questions of the assessor?
Yes, I'm looking at this MLS listing and I'm wondering if you could tell me when this is from, because I see the landscaping's done. In these photos, it looks like,
203 Creekside.
yes,
Done.
it looks like it's
Brown.
done in
Oh,
the
yeah.
front and
We
in the
did
back.
landscaping.
Last year.
It was last year we did in the fall, basic landscaping.
Okay, that's all my questions for the assessor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garrity?
Yes, just of the assessor, you mentioned that you do take into consideration the effects in the area, such as the hydro. And I was wondering what value does that have, or is there a value that you can put on something like that?
So we said for 2 or 3 weeks, I we believe that is.
I did look it up. The hydro lines, it's roughly a negative value of about $13,000 on the property that we have.
Thank you.
When did you build this house, or when did you have this house built? In 2019?
August 29, 2019, we moved in,
August, okay,
29, 2019.
okay. So what are you into the house for?
We paid
Total cost?
Like including improvements or?
for 65.
Yeah,
For 35, we paid to the builder, and for 65.
yeah, 465 at that particular time, including land and,
Yes, plus improvement.
okay.
For
So,
35 plus improvement. For 35, we paid to the builder,
Okay.
and plus improvements that we made.
so when it was listed, what did you list it for?
The recommendation was because we have high population of Asian community, they really do want to have like a big chunk of sale
Discount.
a discount. So the first time, I believe we did 6 something, and then we quickly lowered 20, because what they tend to do, they tend to go like a big discount on a property. So even with that, we kind of lowered it to 589 to keep that room to lower price even more, but we were not successful.
What sort of feedback did you get from the agents in regards to why I wasn't selling, or
Back in power lines, because
power
what
line? The power line is at the back?
they said they don't even want to look. They
Is
scheduled,
it applicable to other properties or right there also?
yes.
Okay.
We have an
We have 2
neighbors.
comparables.
We lived there. We met. They also recently sold. So maybe assessment also should look at the withdrawal as well. They lived a few houses over from us. They listed property in June, and now they also in a similar situation. They withdrew their property from sale because they could not sell, and now they
Was it similar to your house?
yes.
Okay.
Similar.
And
It's
what
on-
were,
in
and what
our
were they
side.
asking at the time?
They asked 560 or 580. They asked 580 with the same idea to lower much better because of the trend developed in that particular area, to adhere towards the buyers who are mainly from the Asian background.
All right. We're sort of off track, but that's fine.
I understand what you're-
You have your presentation to make, so we can deal with that? Or have we already been there? I think you have your brief also, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you want to take us through that and tell us how you conclude value, for the subject.
2, 3.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've basically, going off of your, I guess the first, what would have been the 460 assessed value. We kind of looked at it as more of a 2 to 3% increase per year. And then we obviously looked at other comps in the area as well. But more particularly though, I specifically have, or look at more of the comps of the houses sold backing power lines, because that's the more true factor as opposed to the houses that don't have that issue, period. And so there's two here. One is at 59 Blue Meadow Road and one is at 111 Blue Meadow. And they sold, the highest was 500,000 and the other one was 475. So they're basically on the same boat as us in terms of the power line issue, and the area they're basically a couple blocks over. It's almost the same street, it just changes names when you hit Northtown Road. So to us, that's more of a reasonable assessment value as opposed to what we are at currently.
So what do you think the value should be for your,
They build with the more sophisticated builders. So
Right.
as assessor, I indicated before, there are different types of builders that buyers also adhere to. And that's what we believe, that we don't really meet even those a little bit of criteria, because they were built with more kind of a custom artista home, and or maybe, like those higher end builders. We're a basic truck builder homes that also needs to be taken into consideration.
so for 2019, the city's at 460. What do you think it should be?
465.
No,
The question was understood.
Okay.
For 2020, we believe for 20,
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay,
think,
okay. We have two values here. We have for,
sorry,
okay, that's
I
okay.
misunderstood.
219, okay. The assessment is 460. What do you think this should be?
435,
435?
yeah.
And the next value that the city's at is 517. What do you think it should be?
465,
465?
yes. We paid 435.
Okay. Any questions of the applicants?
Yes.
Okay.
So you just said you paid $435
That's correct.
with the builder,
Yes.
but you put 30,000 in improvements?
Yeah.
What kind of improvements?
AC, we
Lands-
did AC, we did
landscaping.
landscaping, we did not do deck, we did not do fence. We did improve the inside the house, if you can see.
Yeah.
So you see on the pictures, but as we said, by the assessor from the bank, appliances don't count. I mean, something that can be removable, furniture doesn't count, even though this money is included in that furniture, because you can see the picture. So,
So like the wallpaper,
The wall-
there's a lot of wallpaper in your house. here, I
yes,
see.
there's a lot of
Obviously that
wallpaper,
stays,
but
but
I
I
should be
mean,
more accurate.
there-
The 30,000 includes the furniture. It doesn't include, it doesn't include
it's not all,
what
it's
the
not all
true
building
assessor
material.
would say, appliances. We also include 30,000 into appliances, which assessors don't include appliances, right? Because that can be
They can be
removed from the
removed.
place. So this is how we
So you say you tried to sell your house?
Correct.
And you said about 624 and 589 was the last?
589,
Yeah.
yes.
And still, nobody even wanted to even put an offer, period.
Did you consider reducing the value even lower to more like closer to 500? Closer to my assessment? Because 589 is quite high.
That's exactly what we considered, but like I said, we ran out of time, and then because of the adherence to the buyer is Asian buyer, so if we would put 5, we would consider we need to be considered to receive an offer for 450. So that was the recommendation. And then obviously we couldn't hold anymore because we ran out of money to pay just the basic utilities and.
And you said you tried renting the place, so you're not living in this house?
No, we don't.
No, you're not? It's rented right now or
Yes.
vacant?
Now it's rented. So we rented in,
And in your evidence, you said, you mentioned 2 sales that looks like it was written on your sheet after the Blue Meadow?
Yes, which you have copies of there.
Yeah. Do you know when they sold?
should be
Uh,
moving.
I'm trying to look to see where they were in your evidence.
Sell dates, okay, so for 59, it said it sold November 16th, 2019. And it looks like the 111 Blue Meadow sold November 9th, 2019.
And I also want you to
So
take
obviously
into,
that's just before the whole.
as
COVID
assessor,
hit.
I also want you to take into account that November 2019 and 2020 is also a huge difference. Right now,
Because of the
it's,
COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
it was a different picture back in 2018, 2019, and now.
Correct. I have no further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ripple?
Yes, so you don't live in the home. How much are you renting it out for per month?
We just basically covered the mortgage right now, and we are still into, from our own pocket to do the, property.
So how much are you renting it out for per month?
We rent for $22.50.
And what does that include? Does that
Mortgage.
include utilities?
No, they pay their own utility.
And how long have you not been living in the home? When did you move out of the
We
home?
lived till June, till July 1st.
Of
It
this
was
year?
vacant, yeah,
Yeah.
it was vacant for 6 months.
And how long had you been trying to rent it out?
6 months,
For 6 months?
yes.
And can you tell me, when you moved into this neighborhood originally, I'm looking at a picture here of the map that the assessor provided. I am assuming that the hydro line is behind your house?
Yes.
So the front of the house faces Creekside Road.
That's correct.
And I see that there are numerous, like a couple of dozen or a dozen and a half houses on Creekside Road around your house?
A lot of houses.
One,
There's
two,
a lot,
three,
like,
four.
They're almost fully, I think that street is almost fully built
Built, yeah.
already.
Well, maybe these are just lots. I don't know if these are just houses. But are any of these houses for sale at the current time? Are they all occupied?
Like I said, we had a neighbor
I
who
haven't
was on
gone
our street.
recently and checked.
That there were a few houses over from us, but across the street, there was, across the street houses sell really fairly quick because they don't back power lines, and even agent identified to us if you could just move across the street, obviously, after we put the house up. But like I said, we seem to don't learn the lesson.
So are any of these houses on your side of Creekside Road for sale at the current time or vacant at the
We
current?
just withdrew. Like I said, we had our friends that we met forward. They were, I can't remember the number. They were on our side and they posted house for sale in January when, sorry, not in January. We posted in January, in June when the COVID was kind of less, and then they were able to attract maybe more people to come in, but they were not successful either. So in August, they withdrew place from the market as well.
But are there any other houses aside from your friends that are for sale or that are vacant?
I don't know.
Okay. I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garrity?
No, thank you.
Summation, you want to add anything further? No? No? All right. We'll go to 11 Beach Cove Crescent? Court, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Whenever you're ready, you can take us through this property.
I don't have any information on this one.
It's,
It was with the same email
Yeah.
that you had up for the previous.
Oh, it's in the,
yeah, I think it's number 8,
okay, thank you,
Number 7.
number 7, sorry, yeah.
thank you.
Floor is yours, madam.
Thank you. So roll number 030929908000, 11 Beach Grove Court. It's in Bridgewater Trails. It's a 2-story built in 2018. Total living area is 1,980 square feet. Has basement finish, full basement with basement finish. In my brief, you'll all note that a permit was issued in 2019 to finish the basement after possession of the home. It has 3 full bathrooms and a half bath. And the ensuite has a separate shower. It has air conditioning. It has 0 gas fireplaces, but it does have 3 electric fireplaces. It has an attached garage. The lot size is 5,908 square feet. The 2021 assessment roll is 567,000 or $286.36 square feet. We do have the purchase price from the builder after GST is 440,658 for February 16, 2018. So based on the basement has been completed, I searched for comparables that were similar in quality and that had basement finishes as well. Due to the limited sales of basement finish, my search was extended to South Point and Bridgewater Lake. So you see I have 4 comparables. 2 are in South Point and 2 are Bridgewater Lakes. They're all 2 stories, built between 2010 and 2015. The living area ranges from 1,880 square feet to 2,069 square feet. So they all have fully finished basement and air conditioning. They all have 3 full bathrooms and a half bath, with comparables 1 and 3 having the master ensuite with the tub and shower separate. 3 of them have gas fireplaces, and actually comparable number 4 has 2 electric fireplaces. They all have attached garages. The lot size ranges from 5,430 square feet to 7,974 square feet. 2 of them are on external corners. The time adjusted sale price ranges from 552,000 to 593,000 rounded. After reviewing the subject's pictures and reviewing the comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2018 is 567,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions of the assessor?
Yes, have you had the chance to review 186 Brookfield Crescent? That's also as a comparable.
186.
It's exactly the same model as 11 Beach Grove Court.
So
It's 186 Brookfield Crescent. It's exactly the same model.
And when did it sell?
It's so.
That's getting into your
March.
information?
Yeah.
Okay,
March 2020.
that's getting into your information, so we can only deal with what we have here, and then it'll be, you can bring that up in your presentation, okay? So just questions of what you've heard.
How much do you guys knock off for high traffic areas? I know you gave us something in terms of 13 over the power lines. Now, is it same ratio? Is it more of a ratio because of high traffic areas? Because obviously traffic is totally different than a power line.
Yeah, it was slightly higher of a negative adjustment for the high traffic versus the hydro lines. Roughly, just give me a second here. Didn't have it in the other brief. I believe it's it's roughly about 16,000 for that area.
And another question I have for you guys, do you guys also take into account, when you're assessing houses, how many houses are built in that section? Because when you're also living in construction, that's even, and you're close to the highway, now you've got highway and you have construction noise playing into it as well.
No, our models, when we do our mass assessment models, it's based on sales before our reference date. So we don't, it's not considered like if there was 2 houses built on the road versus 10 and being almost done. It's what sold, and it's that whole neighborhood too. It's not just the street. So you're looking at, you're in Bridgewater Trails. We're looking at Bridgewater Trails as a whole. And then if there's certain streets that are higher, like say if there are ponds, in the model, it will factor in, we can see the sales that are on ponds, that they sell higher. So then there's a variable for being on the pond versus not being on the pond. Same with the hydro lines. All the houses at the back are coded with hydro lines, the ones that sold with hydro lines. And we might actually group Bridgewater as a whole because there's a whole, like Bridgewater Trails, Bridgewater Lakes, like depending how many sales and where the hydro lines are, then it's grouped, and then we look at the variable to see if there is an effect on the value of the home. So it's done like that.
Anything further? No. Ms. Rempel, questions?
I have no questions for the assessor.
Ms. Garrity?
No questions.
I just have a couple for the assessor. You haven't visited the property or anything like that, I don't think.
No, I haven't.
And you haven't driven past any of the comparables or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. So your, I guess, evaluation is based on what the subject is, square footage and when it was built, area. And so when you look at your comparables, you're going into the area and looking for similar size properties, similar age. So, so these are the 4 that you've picked up, and you conclude value by what sort of evaluation? Price per square foot?
I looked at the time adjusted sale price. I didn't just look at the square footage. I actually look at the sale price, the range.
So, you know, at the high end is 580 and the low is, you know, 539.
The high range is 593. And the
Oh,
low range is
I'm just looking at the sale price. I'm not looking at the adjusted sale price. All I look at is the sale price. I think that I don't sort of like time adjustments. I think it the sale price is the sale price, and it should be applicable to the dates. I don't like the sale adjustment times. Yeah. Pardon? No. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just wondering where the comparisons are for 18 and 19.
You may ask that question. What was that
My
again?
question is, there is no comparisons in the applicable area because the house is located in Bridgewater Trails. So there is no comparables for Bridgewater Trails sold in 2018, 2019.
Okay, so maybe just ask that question and wait for an answer.
Okay, that's no problem.
Okay. So the question is, the comparables are in Bridgewater Trail? Not? No? What is the question then?
The question is there comparables?
To your subject.
Right.
Okay. Ms. Fulton?
So your question is asking why there's no comparables that sold in
Trails.
over trails
Yeah.
in 2018, 2019?
Yeah.
Is if I'm understanding? Okay. So for the 2021 assessment, our reference date is April 1st, 2018. I can only consider sales before that date. I can't consider June, July 2018, 2019. I can't consider any of those sales. So I can only look at before April 1st, 2018. So when I was doing the review, because you have basement finish, there was actually no sales in your neighborhood that sold with basement finish before April 1st, 2018 that had the similar size as yours. So I had to expand to the neighboring neighborhoods to find homes that were similar with the basement finish to support our assessment.
But in 2018, we didn't have basement finish.
It is current condition, so the 2021 assessment is the condition as of January 1st, 2021. So it's going to be for this coming up January. You have finished your basement. So for the 2021 assessment, it is with basement finish.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I do have a question of the assessor.
Go ahead.
Again, I'm looking at the MLS listing, and I am wondering when this MLS listing for 11 Beach Grove Court was actually on the market, because again, I see the landscaping is finished here. Or perhaps I should wait to ask that of the appellants. I don't see a date on here.
No, I did X out the date because it was listed after April 1st, 2018.
Okay.
I'm just using MLS for the pictures for the current condition.
Okay, thank you.
We are ready for your presentation.
We moved into the house in February 14th, 2018. So we've been trying to sell this house with 4 different agents, high top agents, and we are still not successful after 2 years.
It got the hydro behind it too? Or?
No,
No.
high
Okay,
traffic
just-
area this time.
It's Keniston, that extension of Keniston.
Keniston.
And that's what a lot of the feedback has been, that it's too close to
We
Keniston.
tried to sell the house without the basement because, as you know, it's a high cost to develop. So we went into obviously deeper that in order just to meet the feedback that we constantly receive from the people. And we were just told there's not, because lots of models, what they do, they put a loft. We didn't have a loft. We just had like bare bones model, and we were told if they just have developed basements. So after being unsuccessful for a year and a half, we decided to, if we develop the basement, then maybe we will sell, and we were still not successful.
So what do you think the value should be for the subject?
This exact same model with developed basement was sold. They also, I don't know if you have access, they were sold in March 2020. However, they also have been on the market for a while. They just expired and reposted again.
Yeah, but yeah,
160.
the problem when you have to relate to the valuation date. We can't consider 2020 as the sale date. I mean, it's there, but our evaluation is April the 1st, 2018.
2018, we had, if you say that, then it has to be also assessed at the right value. 2018, we didn't have driveway. 2018, April 1st, we didn't have landscaping done. If you wanted to adhere to that, 2018, we lived in the mud with construction area, right? If we really want to narrow down to April 1st, we only lived in the house for 3 months, so there was no driveway on April 1st. There was nothing.
Well,
And the value at that time was 470. for 69, for 70.
So with the city being at 567, okay, what do you think the value should be at the reference date, given its current physical condition?
For 89.
489?
Yes.
And that's your presentation?
That's my presentation because the comparables are saying that 186 Brookfield, the exact the same model, developed basement, and most features are the same, was sold for 472.
I thank you. Ms. Fulton, questions of the applicants?
Yes, second. Here, I'm just looking at your evidence that you submitted. What was the address you said that sold?
186 Brookfield Crescent.
186 Brookfield, so it sold,
472.
it looks like March of 2020 for 472.
But they've been selling this property also, like if you look at this, they've been selling this property for a year as well. On and off of the market. Once they expire, they would renew the contract. Similar idea.
Okay, do you currently live in the home?
No,
So this house is being rented?
correct.
And you took possession of the home, looks like probably February 2018?
February 14th, 2018.
Okay. Did you move into the property
We lived there, yes.
for a little bit and then you moved out since? And you said you tried to sell the home. Did you try selling it shortly after you moved in?
Yes, we started selling in 2018 in the fall. We were trying to sell this property with 4 different agents. And these agents are really fine agents. You can look them up on MLS. It was Scott Moore, who is number 1, who lives in the area, who knows everything. We have Sabi Brar, who's selling also Kensington homes, so we thought that would make a change. We had Sheila Leon, who's also top agent, who was also working a lot with Asian community. She had lots of connections, so we thought we followed their lead and directions as well. They strongly advised us that this community to list a little higher because they wanted to feel, that place can be at a good discount, so they feel that they, and we adhered to all their recommendations, and we were still not successful.
And how much did you pay for the property from the builder?
460.
And does that include improvements?
No.
So how much would you have spent in improvements on the home?
Well, we overexpended, and that's the price we paid. We overspended. But as we know, the market tells us otherwise, so.
So how much did you, for the basement finish, did you guys complete it yourself or got a contractor? Yourselves. Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Rempel?
Yes, I notice here on the assessor's information, it says that this home was sold the 16th of February for $440,658. That's not what you paid for it?
460.
You paid $460. Okay. And you say that you're not living here. And so you moved in February 14th, 2018. And then you tried starting to sell it that fall?
Yes.
Did you live in it till the fall?
Yes.
Okay. And then in August of 2019, you bought Creekside.
Well, we bought it before that.
But that's when you moved into it?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that in the same neighborhood?
No.
It's in the Bridgewater area, but it's lakes as opposed to trails.
And can you tell me how much you're renting your house out for on Beach Grove?
We are not renting right now,
Oh.
we're vacant.
It's vacant, but you had been renting it.
We have, yes.
Okay. And so how long has it been vacant?
Since August 1st.
Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
I thank you. Ms. Garrity?
No questions.
Do you wish to summarize it all, either party? Okay. Leave it with us and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you for, I'm sorry? Yes. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. So thanks for coming and results very soon.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your
Thank
time.
you.
Mr. Martell, do you have to move your car or anything?
No, I dropped off.
Okay, okay. Because we have one other one to do on Zoom and then we'll deal with you. Okay. Okay, we'll call a hearing back to order and we're going to go to 66 Stablewood Road. So, okay, so we will first hear from the assessor and they'll take you through the property and describe it and conclude value, and you may ask questions and then it'll be your presentation after that. Is that okay?
And actually, just
Yes,
before it begins, I'll ask you for the applicant.
Yes.
So, Madam Applicant, for the record, please state your name.
Lin Chen.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Lynn, okay, so we'll first hear from the assessor. So the floor is yours, madam.
Thank you. Roll number 03091698800066 Sablewood Road in Bridgewater Lakes. It's a two-story built in 2012. It's 1,718 square feet, has basement finish. It has 2 full baths, half bath with a shower, central air, has no fireplace, a detached garage. In my brief, the property was purchased and then a permit was issued for the detached garage in October 2019 to build a new garage. So for the 2021 assessment, it includes the garage. The assessed lot size is 4,638 square feet. Land Influences has the back lane and there is a walkway beside the home. The 2020 assessment roll is $452,000 or $263.10 a square foot. So I have reviewed 4 comparables in the Bridgewater Lakes area. These homes were built between 2013 and 2014 and living area ranges from 1,640 square feet to 1,827 square feet. Comparables 1 through 3 have fully finished basement, where comparable 4 at the time of sale had partial finished basement, which was a rec room with no ceiling and there was no bathroom in the basement. So the bathrooms are as follows. Comparable 1 has 3 full bathrooms. The ensuite has a separate shower and a half bath. Comparables 2 has 3 full bathrooms and a half bath. Comparables 3 has the 4 full bathrooms, and comparable 4 has 2 full bathrooms and a half bath. They all have air conditioning, and comparable 2 has a fireplace. They all have the detached garage with the back lane influences. Comparable 1 and 3 are on corner lots. The assessed lot size ranges from 4,251 square feet to 4,856 square feet. So the time adjusted sale price for comparables range from 418,000 to 466,000. After reviewing the subject and the 4 comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2018 is 452,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the assessor? It's brief, just what you heard. None?
No.
Okay, I thank you. Ms. Rempel?
I have no questions, thank you.
Ms. Garrity?
I have no paperwork, just to let you know. And so I don't have questions either. I listened well, so.
But you should have. So.
Yeah, nothing's come through.
Yeah, it was in the item, the first email I sent at 8:58, item 8 and 9 were both. in that
Oh, we're
box.
back to that one? Okay, I have that one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, no further questions, Ms. Garrity?
No questions.
Okay, I just have a couple. You talked about a detached garage being built?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the permit taken out? How much?
The value of the
Yeah.
permit, declared value on the permit was $10,540.
Okay, so was that a double garage then, detached?
It was a detached 20 by 20, so yes, a double.
Okay. And I noticed that there's been some sales on the property, so in November of 2012, it's $100,000, so that would probably be the land.
Correct.
And the building permit was probably taken out in December of 12 for 113, so they're in, I'm sorry, yes. 13, sorry.
Yeah.
So a total of 413, and you're at the 452 for the subject property, eh?
Correct, with the garage and the basement finish and the air
Yeah.
conditioning. Yeah. All that
And
is included.
I noticed in the comparables, the low end is, and they're all sort of similar, okay? But the low end is, I'm just looking at the sale price, that's all,
Yep.
okay? But that's 410, and then, it goes to 428, and then it goes to 435, and then the high end of 455. So there's quite a variation in regards to sale value. So, but they all look, they all are similar.
Correct.
Okay, they're 2-story, they're all roughly the same square footage. So why would there be such a variation on the high end of 455? That's comparable number 2.
Comparable number 2.
Yeah.
Let's see here. 107 Falcon Farm.
That's very strange.
It is.
Mind you, it's a summer.
Yeah, it is the
So,
summer, so that could have factored
yeah.
it in. It's because comparable 1 and 3 are on corner lots, so that certainly would have factored in.
Yeah.
Comparable 1 has the light traffic, so the road beside it.
So
Comparable 4, I did notice it was at the 410,000, but the basement was partially finished. So whoever would purchase the home would have to spend more money finishing the basement, where the other 3 comparables and the subject are fully finished basements. And in comparable 4 didn't have a bathroom in the basement.
And nobody, they're all, detached garages, I would imagine.
Yes,
and
they
they're
are.
probably doubles.
Correct, yes.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it would be something in the home, maybe it was staged better, maybe,
Yeah.
Carpets versus hardwood.
Yeah.
Like
Well, we never know what
we never
the
know.
basement is. The basement finishes.
And
So,
yeah, the quality of the basement finish, like I said, here before, it was partially
All right.
finished, so that could
So
affect it, yeah.
maybe it'll come to light in regards to the Ms. Chan's presentation. So we're ready for your presentation, Madame.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I have no idea how this assessment has been done. I just my first evidence is that the price has been jumped from 380 to 452 because the garage is added, as you can see from the evidence. I just looked at this and I showed another evidence how much I spent on my garage. That is about 14,000. I think the value should not be added so much. That is the only thing I can argue. About the market, I have no idea because we are newcomers. We come here and after 2 weeks, we bought the house. So I have no idea if I paid more or less or what is the market price for this. So for this, I have no argument.
When did you buy the house? When did you buy the house?
I bought it last September.
Last September?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you pay at the time?
You mean how much I pay for it?
Yes,
That is about 435,000.
435?
Yes.
So you don't really have any market sales for us?
I have seen.
Really after?
Yeah, after that.
Which sort of, as you've probably heard, concludes value or tells you what the value. So what do you think the value should be for your property? At the reference date of April the 1st, 2018.
I have seen a journal it's called Bridgewater Neighborhood. I've seen a neighbor sell the same house at about 400,000. So I think I have maybe paid 30. No, sorry, that's 30,000 more than it should be. That's what I guessed, but I'm not sure.
So by looking through the assessor's presentation, are you familiar with these houses that were used as comparables? And which one would be similar to yours?
I think that if the building is on Sablewood and the same side as my house, and they are all the same because it's all built by the same constructor. There is nothing to compare. Maybe the first one, number 3, that is a little similar, maybe.
So the one on Red Spruce Road.
Because number 1 and number 4, they're different.
Number 1 and number 4, similar?
Number 4 is Bellflower Road. I have no idea, but from my side, 66 Sablewood. I think that the number 3 to Sablewood Road may be similar, but I never checked actually. I just guessed it looks similar.
So what do you think the value should be?
Before I heard their evidence, their presentation, I think it's 400,000. But now I heard it's related to the selling price, so I think it should be less than 420,000.
100,000?
420,000.
420, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Questions of the applicant?
Just to clarify, so you purchased the home for 435,000 and then you built the garage, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying that you feel that it should be less than 420,000, the value of your home with the garage or without the garage?
With the garage, because I think we have paid more than we should. Yeah.
Okay. No further questions, thank you.
Ms. Finkel?
I have no questions.
Ms. Garrity?
No questions.
Okay. Either party wants summation, last final kick?
What does it mean? Sorry.
Okay. I thank you for your Zoom presentation and results very soon. So thank you very kindly.
Thanks for your.
And have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Martell, come on forward and we'll get you sworn in.
Yeah, you'll sit at a table, but you don't have paper copies.
Come on.
ask you to please state your name.
Robert Martell?
Confirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience, Mr. Martell. And hopefully you've learned quite a bit.
Yeah, I did. Is it a coincidence? It's all Bridgewater.
I know.
All right. So my understanding is, I'll just repeat it. We're gonna go to number 11, Stradwick, is it Point?
Yes.
Point. And it is number 13 on the docket. And then we're gonna go to 14 on the docket. And then we're going to go to number 11 on the docket and number 12. And the last is number 10. All right. So let's, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
We're starting with number 11.
yes.
Okay. We're starting at number 13. 13.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. So bear with me for a second. Yes, okay. We'll bear with everybody here.
Yeah.
So 13, 14,
I think-
11, 12, and 10.
I think we're starting with 14, sorry. 14
Oh,
and
sorry.
13.
No, yeah, 13, 14, right? We're in 19, 20.
What? Oh,
Oh, really?
No,
at the window?
I think,
Sorry.
Maybe that's what I want to do too.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're gonna
13,
do 11 Stradwick
13.
points,
right, but 14, not 13, 14 and 13.
13 and 14.
We're
yes,
gonna do
but
the
it's two different
2019 year.
records.
Oh, you want to do 2019 first? Or what's
Yeah, I do 2019
Oh,
first
okay.
and then 2020.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
We can do them back to back.
so we're in agreement? Where are we going here?
11 Stradwick.
Yes, yes.
You're gonna do the 2019 first.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then do the 2020,
2020
Yeah.
after? Okay.
and I can do them back to back. Or do you want to ask questions in between the 2019 and
They're
2020?
probably similar. Are they not
Different comparables.
different comparables?
Because it's different
Well,
reference
okay,
dates.
different. Okay. We'll
So
do them individually.
do them individually?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're starting with 13, number 13.
13.
Okay.
Okay.
Weird. Just give me a second here. That's 2020, 2019.
So I have number 13 here, and the assessment is 1,502,000. 1,502,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we have a reference date of April the 1st, 2016.
Correct.
Okay. So we're on the same wavelength. All right. The floor is yours, madam.
All right. So in my brief, okay, roll number 030916600000, 11 Stradwick Point. This is going to be for the 2019 assessment. My second page is just the straight comparables that is provided by the department. This is a unique home. It's
custom-built Artista home. So on the third page, after, you're gonna see I have the same comparables, but I made adjustments. So this is a little more unique than the previous properties I've been doing. So I'll be talking off of this page with the adjustments, okay? So 11 Stradwick is in Bridgewater Forest. It's an Artista home, custom built, 2-story, built in 2019. Total living area is 3,627 square feet. It has a walkout basement. The basement finish is 2,168 square feet. I did attach plans to my brief as well. So you're gonna see the main, like the outside, the back, the main floor, upper floor, and the lower level plan. And I've also attached as additional evidence, pictures of the property, the exterior picture of the home, the back of the home, and then I also provided pictures of my comparables and the land titles certificate. Just to give you an idea how unique the property is. I felt that pictures of the exterior would be beneficial to you. Okay, so when looking at the basement finish, I did state it was 2,168 square feet. If you look at the plans, this home has actually basement area under the garage, which is not typical for the area. So there is like a media room underneath the garage. So that's why there's such a large basement finish in the home. Home also has 3 full bathrooms and a half bath in total. It has the air conditioning, a fireplace, the attached garage. I do have it as 1,048 square feet in size. There are extras on the home. There is a deck out of the main floor, a balcony on the upper floor, the patio for the walkout basement. I do have sunroom. According to our plans, it's actually a screen porch. But as you see from the pictures, they have since enclosed it to an actual sunroom, which would be the first picture on my additional brief at the back of the house. The lot size is 10,618 square feet, and it has the park influence. So there is a walking path behind the home. So the 2019 assessment is the 1,502,000. So for the 2019 assessment, I reviewed 3 comparables, which were all built by Artista Homes, with one being in South Point and the other 2 in Bridgewater Lakes. I have attached a map for the board to see where these comparables are located in relation to the subject property. These comparables were built in 2013 and 2014, which, as they're older, they required a positive adjustment for the effective age, which you will see on my brief of plus 50,000 or 60,000. The living area of the comparables range from 2,724 square feet to 3,152 square feet, which are smaller than the subject, thus having an upward adjustment as well. You need to see the adjustment that I have made. They're all walkout basement with much less basement finish. Again, would need a positive adjustment for the basement finish. All 3 comparables have a master ensuite, which has the 1 full bath and a separate shower. Have 2 full baths, either as a full bath or a half bath with shower and a half bath. They all have 2 gas fireplaces and air conditioning. They all have smaller garages than the subject. So I made also an adjustment for that. Comparable 1 has a main floor deck and a second floor balcony. Comparable 2 has the main floor deck and 2 second floor balconies. Comparable 3 has the main floor deck and 2 second floor balconies. They all have the concrete patio for the walkout basement. The lot size ranges from 7,033 square feet to 9,640 square feet, and they're all on retention ponds. Despite being on retention ponds, they are smaller lots, and Stradwick Point is a premium location. So an upward adjustment was made. You can see that I have the 2019 land value for the subject and the comparables, thus creating a location adjustment. After the time adjustment and the adjustments that I have calculated, the comparable ranges from 1,470,000 to 1,649,000. After reviewing the subject property and the three comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2016 is 1,502,000. Thank you.
Mr. Martell, questions?
Just a couple, if you wouldn't mind, please. Nancy, there's a little discrepancy on the square footage, 3627 versus the plan that's been submitted for 3530, I believe.
3530, okay, yep. Yes, we take exterior measurements, so we, since we have the plans, we would actually sketch it by the exterior, and we also include, which is very common, the stairs to the second floor. We include that into our square footage, where a lot of builders will actually take that out. So that's where we usually get a lot of discrepancy, is the stairs to the second floor, because because the stairs are there. If we didn't have that square footage, where would you go to the second floor? So we include that. So that's probably why there's discrepancy.
Okay, yeah, so the, excuse me, and I submitted also the floor plan, but in the floor plan itself, it was done by the draftsperson of the architect. Does that include the staircase, or does it not, the 3530? I wonder.
You know what? Give me 1 second here. Let's see if the. Okay. Yes. It appears when we did sketch the property, it appears that the plans did not include the area of the stairs to the second floor in the total square footage. So yeah, it was noted in our file.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cost per square foot, what do you use on that?
For the living area adjustment there?
Yeah, I see there's a quite large adjustment.
Yeah. I was using $200 a square foot.
$200?
Yeah, it's a high-end home. So I felt 200 was reasonable for it.
Okay. And then the effective age adjustment, it looks like it's and we do these too, you know,
I know, yeah.
they're just, it's a number, but did you do it, its effective age, is it using the Marshall and Swift, or is it just a sort of a yearly thing, percentage?
It was done, if you take roughly the cost to build, let's say about $265 a square foot, times it by the square footage, divided by a 70-year depreciation. That's what the AIC uses.
Right.
It comes out, actually comes out to about, I think this one was 14,000.
Okay.
I use $10,000 a year to be a little more conservative. Just the wear and tear on homes.
Yeah, but you're using the effective age that the manuals will, so, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
70
that's good.
years, yeah.
And then the last question is the land value. That seems a bit of a sticking point now.
Yes.
I do quite a bit of work in Bridgewater, so what I rely on, and I just want to know, there's an assessed value, and I sometimes go to the assessed value. This is not evidence as much as this is a question. I just want to make sure that Nancy understands my question. We see the assessed values, but then we also see the sale value. The sale value usually shows up in the contract. In this particular case, it showed up somewhere else, but the evidence you have, the 245 is showing up on the land titles. Is that correct?
No, the 245, to do a quick calculation of the values, that would be the assessed value. The actual sale price of the lot would be at the bottom. It says subject sales. So on July 6, 2017, the lot sold for $257,000.
Okay.
And if you see in my additional information, the second package, I did provide land titles, because normally I don't do title searches, but this, I felt like these properties I should.
Right.
Just to check things out. And you can see it on the very last page, actually, that Manitoba Housing transferred the land to the Cotinos for $257,000.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's okay. And I was aware of that. Okay. So, because these would be some of the talking points. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that I got the information.
For sure.
So, square footage, walk-up basement. That's all the questions I had.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rempel.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Garrity.
I have one, I don't know how relevant, but it's the land information at the bottom. We talked earlier about how sometimes effects are negative and some are, I'm looking at the park and I'm wondering, do you consider that a plus or a minus effect?
In this case, it would be a positive, the park. Yeah, when I walk the area, there is a walking path, but it is very treated, so the homes are very private in the summer for sure. You wouldn't be able to see the backyard of these homes. As you can see in my pictures, like I went out yesterday, the leaves are falling and I still had a hard time getting good pictures of the backyard. It's very a private, secluded area. So it is a positive feature.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I thank you. Did you get a chance to go through the property at all?
No, I did not inspect the inside of the home.
Okay.
That would be on my list to do for sure, because
Yeah.
I imagine this is a high-end custom home for the owner of Artista. So. Well, one of the owners, sorry, of Artista. Yeah.
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Martel, we're ready for your presentation.
Okay. So as a process, do I tell you what I feel the property, just go through my,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's the same and I'm not going to disagree with some of it. Just some talking points. So we're talking about the same property. We're dealing with an effective age of April 1st, 2016. So all sales are back then. Oh, I have one more question. I'm sorry. Before, if I could ask, is the model that the assessment uses, I know there was an issue with respect to time adjustments. The model uses time adjustments. Also, we're dealing with a retrospective appraisal report back to 2016, but it's my understanding that the model will move it ahead beyond 2016 for anything further, in other words, condition. So we're sort of seeing, we're playing against one another. So we're doing a retrospective report based on April 1st, 2016, but are we also considering present day condition? That's the question.
I am considering, which would be in my report, in my addendum, right at the back.
I guess I can make it more clear.
This is 2019, right? So
Correct, yeah.
we actually put the house, because it's a brand new build, effective August 1st, 2019. So I'm taking the condition as of that date.
Okay, so that was my question.
Yeah.
So the model is saying we're going to deal with this home as of April 1st, 2016. I'm okay with that, because it's retrospective.
Yeah.
We're trying to peg that date, but we're also considering in the evidence, in the model, present day conditions. It's one or the other. It can't be both, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Because it's either retrospective or
It's a good point. It's a good point.
But
However, your information is based on old sales with the
Correct.
reference
That's
date of 16, eh?
Correct.
Yes. So you should be okay that way.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I guess the point, okay, that's fine. It'll
Yeah.
probably come up in my evidence.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah, so the lot, I think Nancy explained it. It's a Artista home, 2-story, custom built, very similar to the homes they sell. I see several of these houses. I do quite a bit of work in Bridgewater, so I have seen this house. I've seen almost all. I do all of Artista's homes, so I'm very familiar with their quality. I would say it's up there with the best of theirs, with the exception of one spot in Bridgewater is going to come up with the. It's going to come up in the next one, not this one, but 2020. So I'll deal with that then. The square footage was an issue. Obviously, my report indicates 3530, not the 36 and change, because the evidence I had was the actual floor plan. So when I'm doing an appraisal for any contract, I look at the floor plan. It wouldn't make a big difference, but it's just a point of saying that we're off by, oh, what is that? Just under 100 square feet. But at $200 a square feet is 20 grand. So, condition is 0. Effective age is 0. Very good. Across my comparables, I'm using an effective age, which Nancy has agreed that they do the same thing. We do it a little bit differently. I don't use 7 years effective. I use the Marshall and Swift. We go with 55. At the end of the day, the numbers again are slightly different, but the important thing is we're both using the same method, the effective date. So I'm okay with that. Walkout. Okay, now the lower level, I don't think I asked Nancy that. I'm sorry. The cost per square foot that the model determines for a finished basement, dollar per square foot, based on the quality of the construction that we know of. What do you normally use?
I don't have the information what
Okay,
the
that's
model has used,
Yourself.
but for myself, when I'm looking at it and you see my adjustments here, it's a high-end home and it has that basement area under the garage. So, you just think of the structural engineering to support the garage up with the living area underneath. I am using $100 a square foot.
Okay. My adjustments for basement finishing is, I think I stated my addendum is $55 a square foot. And that's pretty consistent with all the homes that Artista builds. And that's based on the total. Now, one thing that I'll say is that based on a conversation I had with one of the other assessors, we can only rely on the information is either on MLS or on the floor plan. So I'm using 2168 as a finished lower level. That number was given to me by one of the assessors, and that's fine. I'm okay with that because oftentimes we don't have that information. For example, in the comparable sales, if we don't know what the finished area is by contract, we have to assume that it's the footprint of the home less approximately 10 or 15% for utility. So my square footage for lower level development may be a little off, but the big thing here is actually the dollar per square foot. I'm using $55 per square foot. So that's why we'll see a big number there difference. And then the sunroom that's in the back, we've allowed for it $15,000 for the sunroom. And then my comparable, of course, interesting enough, we don't have the same comparables. On the next one we will, which is nice. So we can't talk about the same comparable intentionally. I'd use different comparables. Waterstone, my first comparable, I listed as a superior lot. Now, as evidence, I have actually what they paid for the lot, not the assessed value, but the actual what they paid for the lot, and significantly lower than that. There's a number of reasons for that, which I've also brought for evidence. I don't know if I can give it to you, but maybe at the end. The developer does what's called a lot draw. So they do a development, would be a phase 1, phase 2. Bridgewater Forest was the first development put in Bridgewater. So these lots were available and developed back in 2012. Stradwick, I'm talking, where the subject property is. They do a lot draw and they essentially take 10 of the builders, invite them into a boardroom and say, okay, pick a number of you 1 and 10. Who gets 1? You get the first choice. So they all get a chance to pick their lots. These lots didn't get picked. They didn't get picked because they either didn't like them, they were too pricey. Anyways, they sat on the market for well over 3 years. As a result of that, a number of the applicants went there and got a significant discount to the tune of $67,000, which brought their lot value down to just under $200,000. So the lot value that I use for comparable one, there's a negative adjustment, which is indicating this is a superior lot in value alone. One of the things that we do is, again, we rely on sale price of the lot. And if we don't have that or by contract, we'll then go to the assessment and use that as information. So the information I have from my 82 Waterstone, the first comparable, 46 Highland Creek and 107 Maple Creek will be either through the assessment information and or the contract price of the lot itself. So across the board, across all my three comparables, you'll see that there's adjustments, some negative, some positive. In my addendum, I indicate why, and that's either a superior or an inferior lot. And those are the values accordingly. As far as square footage, I try to use, like Nancy said earlier, you try and stay with similar sized homes because you get a diminishing return on a larger property. You get the same thing on a smaller property. The square footage is significantly more. So I tried to stay around the same. However, I could only find stuff in and around the 3,000 square foot. Or I found one that was 3,800 square feet. Didn't make any sense because the adjustment was huge. Anytime we have large adjustments, the report becomes less reliable, I suppose. So I have adjustments of $127,000. That's just pure square footage. My square footage that I use was abstracted. So when we do our adjustments, we do it through abstraction. Quite frankly, we take the sale price of the house, take away the lot, whatever the lot value is, remove the lower level development. In other words, we take the house on its basic foundation and then we start adding the lower level, the attached garage, landscaping, and whatever else. So then rather than saying the house sold for $1 million and it's a total cost per square foot in the entire house, we say, what's the actual house worth? And then start adding everything else after the fact. So to get a true value of the cost per square foot, I had 207 or 235, I'm sorry, 235. So our adjustments were close enough that we don't have to argue about that. We just arrive at it in a different manner. So my abstracted cost per square foot on most of these is 235 per square foot. I think Maple Creek was 211 per square foot, which gives me an adjusted value. If you use the same method as the model, it's somewhere in the vicinity of 306 or 368, 330, and 318 per square foot on the whole thing. But per square foot, adjusted, abstracted, and that's the line that you'll see opposite the GLA. That's based on the abstracted value of 235 per square foot. The walkout finish area. Now, this is where a big number gets affected because I'm adjusting at $55 per square foot. Again, we rely on our contracts, and I see an awful lot of them. A basic lower level is $40 a square foot, and we're talking 2 bedrooms, bathroom, rec room, no acoustic tile, all drywall, pot lights. Artisa has never built a lower level in excess of $55 a square foot. I brought also an evidence, and if I leave it behind after the fact, it's Americome, which is obviously a custom builder, and in their contract, it says 2,500 square foot bungalow with a fully finished lower level, $119,000 plus GST. So it's about $125,000 and change on 2,500 square feet. So we know that 100 is not realistic. And to Nancy's point, yes, there's a media room or theater room or whatever you want to call it under the garage. It's a nice noise dampening environment. But at the end of the day, other than the fact that it's got a structural concrete floor, there's nothing in there. There's drywall and carpet. There's no finishing whatsoever. So I don't know if it warrants an adjustment in excess of $55 a square foot, which is what I used. And going back to landscaping, that then goes back to my question of, do we deal with this property as April 1st, 2016, or do we deal with it in its present condition? I didn't consider any of the landscaping in the rear yard, only the front yard. So I've made an adjustment for $15,000 for the sunroom. My adjusted values, you'll see down at the bottom are 1.192, 194, and 1,094. Pretty tight range. And I used the mean of all three to get a value of 1.160. What we also do, we go to the cost approach, and we want to make sure the cost approach marries up with the sales comparison approach to value. And you can see my adjustments up there, what we just talked about. The 2168 theater room, $100,000. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. This is a 2016. 2016, we were dealing with $45 a square foot, not 55. That's why it's 100,000. So the adjustments you'll see in the walkout are at 45 a square foot at 2016 pricing. Cost approach 1.178. The mean of all three adjusted on the sales comparison 1.160. So I have the value of 11 Stradwick as of April 1st, 2016 at $1,160,000.
Thank you, Mr. Mortel. Questions of the applicant, Nancy?
Yes. You have 82 Waterstone Road for your first comparable.
That's a Huntington home.
When I try to bring that up, 82 Waterstone. I don't have that address.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. and
So I don't
You
know
could-
where
you-
82
yeah, you-
Waterstone is because
okay.
it's not on the map.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, you could use that.
So I have no idea which one.
Yeah, so, let's see, I have a sheet there. And that happens, by the way, I have in the next report, there's some that I have not access to, but that Nancy has access to, so.
Yeah. I'm trying to see 82 on our map. It doesn't exist. I have 78, 84, 86,
Yeah.
90, but not 82.
Yeah,
So it
and-
must be one of those, okay. And then I noticed in your adjustments, you're not using time adjustments.
I'm not.
Despite that they're.
I have issue with time adjustments, quite frankly, and I think on a day-to-day basis, I deal with 90 days, 180 days,
Yes,
270 days.
Correct.
I don't go into the years because, again, it becomes very unreliable. But I also have issues with time adjustments, period. I think that in order to make a relevant or a reliable time adjustment, you have to use paired sales analysis. Now, the model might do that, I don't know. We as a general rule don't use time adjustments, and if I do, it's in very unique circumstances. As a matter of fact, any of the educational material I have says time adjustments are for fudge factor. It says it right in the manuals. In other words, if you can't find a number, use time adjustment. So I don't use it. I don't disagree with it if the board has evidence to say that it makes sense. I have evidence to say it says the opposite. And what I'm talking about is, has Bridgewater, has the market gone up year over year? And I can say that, no, we've got sales that have actually come down or stayed stagnant. So I don't know if the time adjustments are there. I didn't apply any.
For the subject property, for the basement, you only have it listed as full finish. It's a walkout basement.
It is, yes. Yeah, and my mistake, it is a walkout basement.
And what about comparable two? You only have it as full finish as well.
Comparable two,
Yep,
and that is, it's listed as full finish walkout.
it's a walkout basement.
46 Highland?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, because you have full finish.
and 82 Waterstone's full walkout. So comparable one, comparable two, and comparable three are all walkout
Okay.
basements. Yeah, sorry.
And same with the subject.
And the subject is a walkout. Yeah, so if I didn't do it, it was one click out, because again, in my forms, you have a drop-down menu, full finish, and the full finish walkout is probably the next
So-
one down.
Okay, so for finished basement finish, you're saying $45 a square foot,
Based on 2016 cost, yes.
just on cost. Now, is that just basic basement finish?
No,
Like,
no, that
these
would be,
homes, like, these are custom homes, so
Yep.
I'm looking at what, wet bar, like, these are high-end homes, so they're not just gonna put basic basement finish in their basements on a walkout, like, it's gonna be high-end for Artista. And then have you also considered the structural engineering to hold up the garage, to put that media room underneath as well,
yeah,
in your
there's,
cost?
yeah, there's structural, it's a structural
Yeah,
concrete and solid core, hollow core floor.
so that's more expensive than just putting gravel down and pouring concrete floor for the garage, sorry.
Well, they've actually done a number of them. To answer your question, I guess, perhaps, I don't know the cost of a hollow core floor. But having said that, also that room, if it's 1,000 square feet, there's nothing in it. It's wide open. It's just a theater room.
But most
So-
of the cost would have been to support it,
Correct,
right?
but it's a
the
whole
finish itself.
2168, yes. As a whole 2168 at 45, 2016 pricing.
So you're using $45 and for like a basic,
No,
What
no,
if-
for
for
actually-
everything, like
for-
even a high-end home
Well, yeah.
with like a theater, like built-in speakers, wet bar, you name it, like
Yes,
pot lights, everything.
everything, yep.
And say just a regular home that just puts in normal basement finish, puts up drywall, ceiling and flooring, are you still using $45 a square
No.
foot as well?
And again, these numbers don't come from me. From time to time, we go to the market, we go to the contracts. And I'll have for evidence that this is Merrick home, custom built, lower level. And it lists actually what's in there. It's quite substantial at 120,000. If you do that, that's $55 a square foot. And that's based on 2018 prices. So keep in mind that everything that I use, I tried to use this comparable one's a Huntington Home. Huntington Home is, one would argue, they're custom home builder, Artista. There's a handful of these guys that build similar quality homes. Huntington actually charges more, as does Merrick. So Huntington does a good home, comparable one. Comparable number 2 is a Merrick. It's actually a former show home. So I suspect that's in pretty nice shape. And comparable 3, 107, it's also a Huntington home. So yes, all 3 comparables are of the same caliber, if not better, because they're show homes. But I didn't
So
discriminate.
you're saying if not better than
Only because-
11 Stradwick, who is one of the owners of Artista Homes Company, built a home for himself.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, I'm thinking as an
Like-
owner, you're gonna put the most high end, the best quality in your own home, the best contractors, right? Like, so,
You would think, but no. I walked through it. They've actually, it's similar to the houses they build. But I would have to say that, and we'll talk about it in the 2020, they have built more inclusive houses and they're very apparent. And these are the people that don't mind throwing as much as they can at it. But no, this home that I viewed, 11 Stradwick, is of the same quality and construction of the ones that they build. So I could take back this, as good as the show homes. I don't like to use show homes because we know the show homes, they throw the best of what they have to offer because it's a promotional tool for them when it comes time of the parade. They want to show, and I often see this in the homes that I appraise, that contracts will say, oh, and we want the floor and we saw in a show home at such and such. So it's a promotional tool. So yeah, the show homes are dusted up pretty nice. So I try not to use the show homes, but in this case, this comparable was a show home, comparable too.
so, your effective age, you said you're doing it similar. So what were you using for the cost, like the adjustment? Because you're using 55 years depreciation
55 years, yeah. And then the
versus my 70. And what was your cost that you were doing per square foot?
235.
235.
Yeah, that's abstracted. So that's
Yeah.
removing, just the home on its basic foundation.
And then, so 235 times, let's use your number, 3530, divided by 55 years. You're looking at 15,000 a year versus my 10, so I'm being a little more conservative. And then you're looking at comparable, let's look at comparable 2, which is 6 years out. You have 6E.
6 years with 5-year depreciation. Yeah.
So, but it's 15,000 a year, so you're looking at 6 years. So 15,000.
5 years. 5 years depreciation. 6 years effective.
So
Five
so you want to
years.
do 5 years. So 15 times 5 is 75,000, and you only have 34,000 for comparable 2. So because if you do your calculation, like you said, $235 a square foot, times at your square footage, 3530, divided by the 55 years, it would come out to about $15,000 a year for 6 years is 75,000, and you have 34,000.
That's which comparables at 82?
Looking at comparable 2 for you, so 46 Highland Creek.
Oh, 46, okay.
So it seems like your adjustment for the effective age, based on your calculations, if you're telling me how you're doing it, it's not correct.
Okay, let me just.
So then you would have, instead of 34,000, it'd be 75,000, so you bump that value up even more. So these would actually, and then comparable 1, you're not giving anything for 1 year, so, okay. And then 3 years, you're only giving 18,000, 15 times 3 is what, 30,000 instead of the 18,000. I can see that being a little higher. So that's one of my concerns of one of your adjustments. You might be a little light on that.
Sorry, Nancy, I'm just catching up to you on this.
Oh,
one.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I know these are quite complicated, so.
We're sort of bogging down
Are
here,
we-
so,
Okay, you want to kind of,
let's,
I think once we get to the other
I
ones,
think-
we'll be a little quicker.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Half an hour. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I mean,
So I'm gonna, it's questionable there. You're saying 1.16 million, I believe that you're saying the value is?
1.16 on the
So
2016.
you're telling me Artista would build a home at this caliber and sell it for 1.16 million to an individual on the street?
They do them all the time. Matter of fact, Huntington does, and so does Merrick.
Well,
1.1 and 960.
there's show home, well, my comparables, you're looking at, without the time adjustment, if you look at comparable 2, which is smaller, much smaller, without any of my adjustments, it's 1.275 million. And then comparable 3 is 1.333 million. So you have to add GST in that because it's a new home. So right there, like, and these are all Artista homes, and they're smaller than the subject. So once you start factoring my adjustments for the age and the size and then the walkout basement, so if you wanna, like, I'm not at the high end of the range, so
Okay, but-
I'm in the middle, so.
we're
yeah.
critiquing each other's,
Yeah, we are.
so.
So we'll leave it to the board. You guys can look at the adjustments and see. All right, I have no more questions,
I
sorry.
thank you. Ms. Rempel, questions?
I just have a question related to the lot
Yes.
that you were talking
Yes,
about. And you said it sat on the market for 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And
So,
why is this a less desirable lot in your estimation?
good question. I don't know. It's a big lot, it's a pie lot. And like Nancy says, it does back on to the forest, if you want to call it. But quite frankly, if you stand in the backyard, people are walking 10 feet off your backyard. So the forest amounts to 3 trees. Now, there's a lot of forest behind it. But what these guys know, and what obviously all the builders know, is that they're going to be building behind that forest. So what privacy has now will be very little. So I don't know why it wasn't, they took it to, no?
So, no, if you look at the map, it's already been built behind it.
Oh, is that right?
So there is a forest with the green space. I believe if you look at my map quickly, I don't know if mine's not in color, is it?
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I haven't seen the picture, but
Well, you
I've
have
been,
the supplementary additional information.
Yeah, but if you look at my map, you see this big white space
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
That's all green space. That will never be developed. They've already developed behind the green space, so there's already homes. So that these homes are quite private on the lots.
well, the day I was there, we had people, I could see them clearly just walking back and forth.
There is a walking path
Yeah.
and the leaves are
Yeah.
falling, but
And I don't know. So to answer your question, I guess, to be fair, in appraising, we sometimes are asked to say, what's it worth? And oftentimes we can say, we can tell you what it's not worth. And we do that by, it didn't sell, they reduced, didn't sell. We can tell you what's not worth. Well, this lot sat there for 3 years. All the builders had an opportunity to pick it up. They said, no, we don't know why. So when they finally went to the applicants, they said, well, buy all 4 of them, but we want a discount. We want to pay what they're actually worth, significantly less. They paid $200,000. They paid they paid $190,000. So there was a $67,000 discount on each lot. Is what they paid. Now, I know that the assessment doesn't have the information. They don't have that. I have it here. I'll leave it when I leave today, because it's important, because it's a $60,000 adjustment, 60,000. It's important. Like I say, with land values, I can only rely on the assessment, which we often do, the sale price or the contract. And that's all we got to go on.
And I just wanted to confirm, what is the square footage of the theater room under the garage?
Be the same size as the garage. It's 1,000 square feet. Yeah. 1,048, I guess it would be.
And I think that's all my questions.
I thank you. Ms. Garrity?
No, I asked my questions. I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Martel, you've probably done all kinds of appraisals and, but I see here your designation is D. What is that?
Okay. Don't get mad, Nancy. It's equivalent to a CRA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
now
okay.
that one?
It's a different organization.
Okay. Different, is it American or something like
Oh,
that?
no, it's Canadian. Yeah, it's,
I've never heard of it.
really, yeah, you would be the first.
Yeah.
It's a challenge that we have every day.
Yeah.
We're recognized by every bank,
Okay,
every financial institution, every.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's a designated appraiser of residential real estate.
yeah,
As
okay.
is CR.
Instead of, we could probably spend half the day
Oh, yes, absolutely.
critiquing, how everything is done. But let's,
I know, I think that when we get to the next one.
Yeah.
We have the same comparable, and I think that's gonna really.
okay. But
That
we're
is
gonna
good.
go to, okay, that is fine. We're gonna go to 11, Stadwick Point, but we'll do 2020,
Correct.
right? Okay. So instead of explaining, we can look at it later
Yes.
and, like I say, we could probably spend the rest of the day
Oh,
here.
absolutely.
I think
Have a
that-
nice
I think
job all
that's-
day.
Because they're nice houses, okay? Anyways.
I think that what we gotta, in this
Oh,
section.
oh,
is it's gonna
absolutely.
carry through, so we won't have
Sure.
to talk about it.
Yeah. All
I
right,
can summarize that.
we're ready for your presentation.
Okay, so the 2020 assessment, I'm just gonna jump right to the bottom because we already
Yep.
know the property. No changes on our property characteristics. So the 2020 assessment is 1,610,000. So I have three comparables, two in South Point and one in Bridgewater Trails. So comparable 1 and 3, no, sorry, comparable 1 is a Merrick home. Comparable 2 and 3 are Artista homes, to let you know. I do have it on my sheet. So 2 stories, built between 2014 and 2016. The sizes range from 2716 square feet to 3228 square feet. They all have walkout basements with finished basement. So you see all my adjustments. Garage sizes are smaller. I adjusted for the screen-in room, the sunroom. The lot sizes range there, you can see that as well. I do have them on retention ponds. So I do the positive adjustments on comparable 1 and 3 for the lot size, the lot value. Comparable 2 is actually a negative adjustment, so just be aware of that. It is on Rose Lake. It is the premier area of Bridgewater Forest. It's amazing if you have ever been there. So that one actually required a negative adjustment. This home is smaller, but it also has, this home actually has the theater room underneath the garage as well. And just let you know, so you can see my basement finish doesn't have as a high adjustment because it does have that theater room underneath the garage as well. So 3 sales. Let me see here. After the time adjustment and the adjustments I've calculated, the comparable ranges from the 1,462,000 to 1,715,000. So after reviewing the subject property and the 3 comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2018 is the 1,610,000. Hopefully that clarifies and quick enough for you.
Okay, yeah, I thank you. Mr. Martell, questions?
No questions.
Mr.
Because
Runkle?
that was dealt with on the other one.
Okay,
So the same questions I had before, we're
Yeah.
just gonna see right through all 5.
Okay.
So,
That's right.
yeah, so let me catch up here. 2018.
okay, wait 1 second. Mr. Rumpel, questions of the,
I'm just wondering when these photos were taken that you have submitted as your additional evidence.
They were taken yesterday.
Thank you.
Ms.
That's all my
Garrity?
questions.
No questions, Ron?
Okay.
Mr.
Commissioner, neither party?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay,
No,
so,
his evidence.
He hasn't presented.
He
his
hasn't
evidence.
presented.
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, sorry.
that's okay. Yeah, so,
Sorry.
so 11 Stradwick. again.
Mr. Martell?
Thank you. So this again, 11 Stradwick, this is the same one we just talked about. It's, you've now got an effective date of 2018, reference date. Square footage is a little off because again, they're 3620, 3530. Interesting enough, I've appraised every one of these houses on both Nancy's comparables and mine. So I know every one of these houses. I've walked through every one of them. I made as Nancy had pointed out, I made a concerted effort to not go to Rose Lake Court. Rose Lake Court's got, I don't know, maybe 15 houses on that little cove. They've got a $4 million fountain. It's exclusive to those homeowners. They've got a private little access bridge. It's their own little island, per se. The builders in there are Geno's, Artista, Huntington, KDR, all custom home builders. The land values alone are $295 to $315 plus GST. Those lot values are significantly more. So as a result of that, I just stayed away from Rose Lake. I can't compare Rose Lake Court to anything else that's not on Rose Lake Court. So I never used Rose Lake Court. I used 20 Waterstone, and the interesting thing about that is we both use 20 Waterstone, and I think that's a good place to start. My adjustments, negative 50,000. I have because I've done this, I've got the actual appraisal. I got the contract value on that lot, and it's 230. I don't know what the assessment is, but the lot cost 236,000 plus GST for a total cost of 247,800. The subject property was valued at 198,692 as per the evidence I have. That's a difference of minus $50,000. It's a big chunk. It's one that I believe well, anyways, I think Nancy's, I think you have negative or positive adjustments on land. All my land adjustments are negative as a result of the information that they don't have. So 20 Waterstone, yes, it's an Artista home, similar in size, slightly smaller. This was an actual show home of theirs, a custom show home. So it's got some pretty nice features also, quite nice features. Lake Forest Road, lake lot, but it's a lake lot that actually was valued. I had it assumed at $200,000. I had no information to tell me what that thing was worth. So I was able to go to the information I had for the lot draws, and the lot draws were what the developer had put up for each and every lot on that. And it's 4 pages. I'll leave you guys with a copy. But it's the lot prices that the developer wanted for those lots. So I just assumed that lot was worth $200,000. I don't know what it's worth, quite frankly. It's a guess. So I made no adjustment for that. Then the standard adjustments are going through $55 a square foot for lower level development based on the difference and effective age and then GLA differences. 8 Willow Creek Road and Stan Bailey. Stan Bailey, I used comparable number 4. That's also an Artista home. The only difference with this one is that it was a unique build that required a style and design adjustment. Yeah, unique in such that it had flat roof. It had a side delivery garage, decks on top of the garage. So that build was significantly more money to build. So you'll see that my report reflects a style and design adjustment of $75,000. The mean of all 3 sales came to 1.26 as of April 1st, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Martel. Nancy, questions of the applicant? That's
You
okay.
have 8 Willow Brook Road.
Willowbrook, 8, I think it is. Yes,
That home is built by Discovery Homes.
it is.
Would you not say that's inferior to Artista and Miracle?
You know, I thought it was, but what happens when they go again to these lot draws? You've got architectural standards. So Discovery Home is no longer a track builder. They've now had to step up, as has other home builders. So no, that Discovery Home is actually of the same quality and standards, even though it's in the industry. We know that Qualico, they have a competing brand. Venture Home sells probably the cheapest home, certainly in value, maybe in cost, and maybe in construction. So like Nancy was indicating or suggesting, we know the Artistas, we know the Huntingtons, Geno's Homes. There's probably a few, it's a half a dozen anyways. Discovery Homes in this particular case, building in Willowbrook, brought their standard up to that of a custom home builder. But I understand your concern. It's a Discovery Home. But if you know, Randall Homes has also got another division of their companies called Avante. So felt the need to raise their bar to go from, 180 a square foot to 250 a square foot. So Discovery's actually stepped up. But I think in my report, I even indicated that they probably, I made a silent design adjustment. You can see across the design and appeal positive adjustment of $60,000. So it probably not where the artistas are. So yes, I did recognize it.
Just quickly, I'm not going to go through other adjustments other than your land.
Yes.
Just to clarify, because comparable to you're not doing an adjustment, and the other two you're doing negative adjustments. So are you using lot sales, like the sale prices of these homes versus the subject?
Which line, Nancy? Sorry,
The land value, like the land value, you're doing negative adjustments for two of them
yes,
on the first page.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, you're using land sales, like their land sales versus the subject? Is that what?
correct, yes. Yeah, I'm saying that, and in the addendum, we talked about that is a superior lot, both in value. But the Willowbrook, that lot sold for $235,600. After GST was $247,380, which accounted for the negative $47,380 because the subject lot is worth $198.
So you're saying the subject is worth 198, but through land titles, we have it at 257, correct? So why would they transfer land titles at 257 versus 198?
And that's the information you guys didn't have. Can I give Nancy a copy or do you want me to do it after the fact? It just indicates the value of the land and how I arrived at that. It's information that they don't have.
But it's too late
Is that
anyways
irrelevant?
to,
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, the land value is 198,692. We often see go the other way around too. Like I'll see a contract on the land that'll say the assessed value is 180 and the land sells for 190.
And we
The
can argue,
assessments are generally close.
I know.
we can argue all day about
Yep.
lands and land sales. We don't have land sales here, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have what transfers to
that-
land titles, so that's what we go
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
To say that these worth a 198, I have a hard time believing when the street right beside it is selling over 200,000 for land.
No, and that's fair enough. And
So
again,
we can just move on from there.
Yep, okay.
So that's that. No further questions.
thank you. Ms. Rempel? Ms. Garrity?
Just a clarification on the document that Mr. Martel presents a cost approach of 1309. And
Yep.
then, but you were saying from the sales is where you got your 1260.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we sometimes reconcile the cost approach. Cost approach, 99.9% of the time indicates the highest value. So we're not surprised to see cost approach in most cases to be slightly higher than the sales comparison approach to value. But we sometimes will reconcile all four, but we definitely reconcile all the sales comparisons. So the 1.31 is the cost, the 1.260 is the mean of all sales.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think we need a summary, so we'll go on to number 15, Sedgwick Point. So we'll do with the 19 and the 20. So whenever you're ready, Nancy.
Huh?
It's 11 and 12.
I know. 2019. Roll number 030916599000, 15 Stradwick Point, the two-story built in 2019. 3,440 square feet, walkout basement with the basement finish. Again, it has the media room underneath the garage, so we can support and everything. So as a result, there's over 2,000 square feet of basement finish. Again, attach the building plans for the boards to see the layout of the home in the basement area. The house has one master ensuite, which is a full bath with a separate shower, 2 full bathrooms. One is a full bath and one is a half bath with a shower and a half bath.
The house has 2 gas fireplaces, air conditioning, and it has the large attached garage, just over 1,100 square feet. The house has a main deck on the floor, and on the second floor, it has 1 balcony in the front. The subject is on the pie-shaped lot, the 10,900 square feet, and it backs onto the green space as well. The 2019 assessment is the 1,603,000. So I have reviewed 3 comparables, all built by Artista Homes, as the subject is an Artista home as well, one being in South Point and the other 2 being in Bridgewater Lakes. Again, attach the map so the board can see the location of comparables in relation to the subject property. Comparables were built between 2013 and 2014. The living areas are 2724 square feet to 3152 square feet, which are smaller than the subject. Again, you will see my adjustments. They all have walkout basement with much less basement. Again, we need the positive adjustment. All 3 comparables have the master ensuite, the 2 full baths and a half bath. They all have 2 gas fireplaces, air conditioning, smaller garages than the subject. So they do vary. They all have the patio, main floor deck, and the second floor balcony. Comparable 2 and 3 have the second floor balconies. The lot size ranges from 7,033 square feet to 99,640 square feet. They are on retention pond. I'm arguing, even though they're small lots, Stradwick is a premium location, so I made an upward adjustment for that. After the time adjustment and the adjustments that I have calculated, the comparable ranges from 1,447,000 to 1,639,000. After reviewing the subject properties and the 3 comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2016 is 1,603,000.
Thank you. Mr. Martel?
No questions.
Ms. Rempel?
No question.
Ms. Garrity?
No.
Okay. Mr. Martel, your floor is yours.
15 Stradwick, a slight difference again in square footage, and that was, and this was a little bit smaller on the total GLA plans versus what the assessment has. Not a real big deal. I used the lower of the 2, of course. Land value, this one was slightly more, not much, based on the information I have, but it's 200,865. So across my comparable sales, you'll see the same negative adjustments for land. Actually, you'll see 1 negative and actually 2 positives, but the positive adjustments wouldn't be as high as the assessor's information. Basement development, $45 a square foot based on 216. I have 116, 1161, so 2 1161s and the 1105 with the cost approach of 1161, just out at 1142, 2016 reference date.
I thank you. Nancy, questions of Mr. Martel?
Again, on this, on your report, you're saying it's a full basement instead of walkout basement. I guess that's just an error.
That's probably, yeah, they're all, yeah.
They're all walkout
Stradwick-
basements with the subject, correct?
Stradwick's a walkout.
Okay.
Are
I
you
have
right?
no further questions because we'll just argue about all the different adjustments and we
Yeah.
can be here all day. So I kind of made my
Okay.
peace at the previous
Okay.
property. So
Ms.
same
Rempel?
issues here.
Ms. Rempel?
I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Garrity?
No questions.
Okay, we'll go to 2020 then. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so the 2020 assessment for 15 Stradwick Point is 1,720,000. Again, nothing has changed on our characteristics. So I have reviewed 3 comparables, which 2 are built by Artista Homes and 1 by Merrick. They're the same comparables from the last brief for 11 Stradwick. I'm using them again. Adjustments have been changed lately because of the size and what has been finished in the home. So, you know, these are smaller homes, older homes, less basement finish, doesn't have the media room underneath the garage, I believe, except for Rose Lake Court. I did the negative adjustment for Rose Lake Court for the location. So I'm just gonna go after the time adjustment and the adjustments that I've calculated on my report. The comparable ranges range from 1,439,000 to 1,693,000. After reviewing the subject property and the three comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st is the 1,720,000. I do understand that the 1,720,000 is the model value of the department, and it is within the plus 5% of the high end of the range, and therefore no change in value is considered on my part.
Thank you. Mr. Martel, questions?
Just a couple of quick questions. The 15 and 11, they're side by side, same lots. We both recognize that 15 Stradwick has it's at least 100 square feet smaller. Both have walkout basements, both have the same finishings, and yet this one's assessed at $100,000 more. That was odd. It struck me as weird. So obviously the modeling threw something bizarre out.
The modeling's catching something else that we're not seeing on paper.
Right.
I do believe if you look at the basement finish, there's actually more basement finish on this property versus the other one it might be, if I
Right.
pull up the file. So there are some tweaks, you know, like it depends on the size of the deck and the balconies as well. That is factored into model value as well, and we don't see it on our report, so yeah. Yeah.
And then in Rose Lake Court, you mentioned a land adjustment. I see it as negative 37.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So and the reason I don't use Rose Lake Court, my adjustment on the land would be 137. So I use the same ones again. 28 Waterstone, just for Nancy had the problem of 82. What was it? 100. One sheet couldn't find. 28 Waterstone I couldn't find. I would have used it had I been able to find it. So I don't know if it was a private sale. But this one here, and I don't know if it's true, but it's on two lots, two lake lots. I don't know if that factored in or not.
20 Waterstone?
28,
28.
Miracle. I didn't use it anyways. I couldn't find it, so I never used it. But the interesting thing about this particular report, mine and Nancy, is we both use 20 Waterstone. And I think that makes for better conversation because we're comparing it to the same house. The only thing we have is, like we've talked about in the last, is we have to agree to disagree on land value, cost per square foot, and lower level development. Other than that, I think, that's where the crux of mine. Anytime you make a negative adjustment, the positive is going to double that thing. So all of Nancy's adjustments are negative, mine are positives. We're going to get twice the adjustment. That's why we're so far apart. But other than that, my where am I now? 2015 Stradwick. Well, I'm supposed to have to tell you it's right there. I guess it's 1.236, 1.218, 1.219, adjusted value of 1.225. It's a number that I expected to see lower because of the fact it's a smaller house, which is again the little interesting little tidbit that the guy next door with the smaller house that's built the exact same is actually assessed higher. It didn't make any sense, but it's not a lot, but it begs to ask what happened in the modeling. That's it.
Thank you. Nancy, any questions?
I just have one question without getting into the land prices. So 20 Waterstone, we are both using it.
Yep.
And 20 Waterstone is in South Point.
South Point, correct.
Would you not say South Point is inferior to Bridgewater Forest?
Well, and I listened to the other cases you had prior to mine. It's interesting in that if we can't find a good comparable, then we make the adjustment as necessary. And if we can't go to the trails, we go to South Point, we go to. So then what I do is I say, okay, so what's the significant difference? Same builder, same materials. The only difference is the land. What's the land value? 20 Waterstones worth more. So that's why I made an adjustment of negative adjustment on the land. Because again, it comes back to the land value.
But would you say the area is inferior to Bridgewater Forest?
Generally.
Generally, right, that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
not just the
absolutely.
prices,
I
the lots
think
and
so.
stuff like that.
I think so.
When you look at how Bridgewater Forest was built with the beautiful walking paths and everything versus South
Yeah, I would
Point,
agree.
Would you agree
I would
that
agree.
South Point is inferior?
as a general rule, South Point is. There is some nice houses, but as a general rule, yes.
Okay.
I try to stay out if I can.
I know. It's hard when you look at $1 million homes and Artista builds them themselves for themselves. You know, it's hard to find comps. Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Rempel? Ms. Garrity? Okay,
No questions.
did that conclude 19 and 20?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think So
So we'll go
quickly,
to
yes.
34 Clear Spring Road. Whenever you're ready. Number 10 is the item.
Okay, roll number 030916845000 34 Clear Springs Road in Bridgewater Lakes. It's an Artista home again, built for one of the Artista owners. It's a two-story built in 2019. It's 3,047 square feet, walkout basement. Again, it has the basement area under the garage that has been developed. So therefore there's almost 2,000 square feet of basement finish. I've attached the building plans for you guys to review. The house has a master ensuite with the separate shower, 2 3-pieces bath, 2 half baths with showers and a half bath. The house also has 2 gas fireplaces and air conditioning. It has the attached garage of almost 900 square feet. The house has a deck on the main floor, and the second floor has 2 balconies. The lot size is just over 11,000 square feet, and it backs onto the retention pond. The 2020 assessment was $1,406,000. For the subject sales, I have the land transferring through land titles in May of 2017 for $235,600. So I have reviewed 4 comparables, which 3 are built by Artista and 1 built by Merrick Home. 2 are in South Point and 1 in Bridgewater Trails and 1 in Bridgewater Lakes on the same street as the subject. I threw in comparable 3 is 58 Clear Springs. It is an Artista home. So I threw it in because it is on the same street, so just in case it came up. But I'll go into it further and later here. So they're all 2 stories built either in 2014 or 2016. The living area ranges from the 2,700 square feet to almost 3,300 square feet, again, smaller than the subject. All walkout basement finish with basement finish. They all have the master ensuite with a separate shower, 2 full baths and a half bath. They all have air conditioning, gas fireplaces, range from 2 to 3, and they all have the attached garages. They all have the concrete patio, main floor deck. Comparable 1 and 2 don't have the second balcony, and comparables 2 and 4 have the second floor balconies. You can see the lot size range from almost 1,200 square feet to almost 1,700 square feet, and they all back onto retention pond. Comparable 4 is a premium location in Bridgewater Trails, so I did the downward adjustment. The other ones were similar to the subject for location, so no adjustments were required. So comparable 3, if you look in my additional information, I did submit pictures. Just by reviewing the plans and reviewing the exterior, it's an Artista home. If you drove by the street, I would have missed it as Artista. Artista has a very unique style with the balconies up at the front. So this one more is a lower end Artista home versus, a custom built Artista home that like either show homes that are built in the area. So after the time adjustment and the adjustments that I have calculated, the comparable ranges from $1,195,000 to $1,556,000. After reviewing the subject property and the 4 comparables, it is the opinion of the assessor that the market value as of April 1st, 2018 is $1,406,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Martel?
Okay, 34, it's Clear Spring. I didn't use, again, the same argument. 28 I couldn't find, 117 I couldn't find it. 20 Waterstone. Identical house, same builder, relative, I guess, smaller home. This lot actually, again, it was on the lot draw for 220,000 plus GST, but was sold at 220,000 less 10% plus GST for a total cost of 215,460. So 215,460 was the actual sale price of that lot. Again, that may not be information that the assessment has. Other than that, $55 a square foot lower level development, the same adjustments that I've made on the other 5 for the most part. Or sorry, the other 2 that were also done for April 1st, 2018. My adjusted, my cost approach, if you follow the land value 215,460, the 3,047, yeah, we use the same square footage in this case. So interesting in that same builders, and yet the contract was 3047 and assessment 3047. So some way the square footage is now matching. So sometimes it sounds like as if perhaps the model includes staircases, sometimes it doesn't. It's not for me to understand that. I just, I used 3047 and so did Nancy, and that's great. So at least we have no argument there. I use a effective age adjustment across the board like I do all the other ones. My cost approach was 1,159, 1,159, or 1,160, I should say. My adjusted sales were 1.119, 1.136, and 1.090, which is a low end, and that's at Willowbrook, and that's also the one that we talked earlier about, was a discovery home. It adjusted lower at about $20 a square foot lower. So using the mean of all 3, 1.110 for 34 Clear Spring, effective April 1st, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Martel. Nancy, questions of Mr. Martel?
Yes, sorry. Again, on your appraisal report, you're saying basement is full finish. I'm assuming that is in error. It's supposed to be a walkout
Yes,
basement
it's
for
a
this
walkout.
home.
Yeah.
You're saying, so you got the square footage of 3,047, which is what I have as well. But here, when I look at the plans, it's 3,002 square feet. Because my assessor who sketched the property did indicate that the plans did not include the staircase. So the actual square footage is here. So you're actually using my number,
No, we don't.
which is not what's on the plan. So
Okay, so I probably pulled it from the assessment.
you must have pulled it from the assessment. So the model is doing the right
okay.
thing. My assessor is entering the information correctly. So we're good on my part. So I just want to throw that out. Again, we can argue all day about the adjustments.
I thank you. Ms. Rempel?
No questions.
Ms. Garrity?
No question. Oh, no question.
Maybe. I know.
Okay, I think summation needs a party? No?
You want to make a summation?
Oh, summation. Do you want me to regurgitate what I said? I think that we recognize that we recognize they're custom built homes, like the ones I compared it to. But I would have to take exception to the fact of the lot value. The lot value is not what's stated. How you guys decide that, I can assure you, and I'll leave this behind. They didn't pay 250, 257. That records. Now, here's the thing. The Manitoba Housing Corporation, they've been paying tax on 257, but they sold it for a lot less, I'll tell you that. So we got the difference between, I think if the board wants to look at the evidence that we both submitted, I think for 11 and 15, if you look at 20 Waterstone, we both used that. So I think that's a good place to go. Then it's to hone down on the adjustments we made. And the significant adjustments would be the land value. Is it 247 or 257 or is it 201 or 198? The lower level development, again, I can assure you that it's not $100 a square foot. And I've got lots of evidence to prove that. The other adjustment I think that we disagree on, I think the time adjustment. I didn't look real closely at what the assessment has, or the assessor has used for time adjustment. I didn't use any. And I'm not saying I won't use it, I won't consider it, but I need to see the evidence to say that things have gone up year over year, because I've got the exact opposite proof. So I guess to summarize, I think that we've got two significantly different numbers. You know, they change, what are they, they're $400,000 apart. So somewhere's in there, we've got to find, you know, which one's right. That's your job, I suppose. Any other little thing, and it's not a big deal, but 15 is 100 square feet smaller, but it's assessed $100,000 more. That looks a little strange.
All right,
Done.
we're done.
Thank you.
Yes, go
So my
ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, all three properties are custom built homes from Artista for Artista owners. I would expect the best of the best in these homes. That's why my opinion is at the high end of the range. Again, we can argue all day. I go by land transfer values for land. And to me, adjusting retention ponds have to go up versus going down. The effective age, we do it differently. I use 70 years, he uses 55, but based on my calculations on the very first one, his math wasn't quite adding up to what was on his reports. I haven't looked at the other two reports and did the math in detail, so I would like you to consider that as well on the effective age. Based on his, it's supposed to be 15,000 a year, times it by 9 years, certainly doesn't come out to 56,000 on this one, this report. Yes, it is a full walkout basement, fully finished. We are different on the price per square foot on finishing. I do factor in the structural engineering that goes below the garage and to just have livable space underneath there. Like that's a high cost alone to make that a livable space versus just having a regular walkout basement and a concrete board pad for the garage. Okay, so please consider that. Other than that, it is my opinion that these homes will be on the high end of my range. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Falkman. Ms. Martel, thank you for your presentations, and that concludes our hearing and results very soon. So thank you.
And then depending on the outcome, there's an appeal process beyond this.
Oh, yes, municipal board. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.